Charlotte, oh god, Charlotte. I feel so bad for anyone that has to be a fan of this godforsaken franchise. And it hurts me, as a Pelicans fan who used to be a Hornet, it hurts me to see a Hornet franchise just be ran so poorly. And it's not the Hornets' fault, it's mainly Michael Jordan's fault. Ever since they've gotten Michael Jordan, they have just been ran so poorly. And this is not a dig at any Hornets fan. So if you're watching this and you're a Hornets fan, do not take offense. It's purely a video of me venting about how bad I feel about y'all. I mean, like, you're currently 7-20. Y'all have made some terrible draft decisions. You haven't made the playoffs since you were 2016. You're barely an NBA team. Hugo the Hornet's still your mascot. That's probably the only bright spot about your franchise. He's got to be one of the best mascots in the NBA. So at least we got that going for you. But if you just look at like the history of what y'all have done, it just is so unfortunate. I just couldn't imagine the heartbreak and the heart attacks this team must put you through year in and year out. And the first thing I really want to dive into to really for people to understand how unfortunate Charlotte's history has been since Jordan has taken over as majority owner in 2010 is dive into their draft history. And we're going to work from the later drafts to the now drafts. And he's been the owner, like I said, since 2010, but they did not have a first round pick in 2010, so we're not going to bring up that draft. But let's go to 2011, where they had a lottery pick, and they did select Kemba Walker. It started off very good. They selected Kemba Walker, a home run pick. I will give it to him. But in that same draft, and actually before the Kemba Walker pick, they picked Bismack Biyombo. And they picked Bismack Biyombo over guys like Klay Thompson, Kawhi Leonard, Nikola Vucevic, Tobias Harris, and Jimmy Butler. All of which I would say are a lot better than Bismack Biyombo. And even when you're winning, you're losing if you're a Charlotte Hornets fan, because yes, you got Kemba, but you also got Bismack Biyombo, which is just unfortunate. But that one that's probably one of their better drafts, which is crazy. But let's just call that one a win. And then you go into your 2012 draft. By the way, this is them coming off of literally one of the worst seasons in NBA history when they were the Bobcats still. Like this was very bad. And the top 2 pick that they had in 2012, they selected Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. And I don't think many of you I have to explain to that Michael Kidd-Gilchrist with the 2nd overall pick was not a good pick. And if you look at who they picked him over, they picked him over Bradley Beal, Damian Lillard, Harrison Barnes, Andre Drummond, and Evan Fournier. All of which would have been better picks than Michael Kidd-Gilchrist with the number 2 overall pick. Like, imagine if they had Kemba and Bradley Beal, or Damian Lillard and Kemba Walker on the same team. Hell, even if they had Harrison Barnes and Kemba Walker, it would have been a lot better than Michael Kidd-Gilchrist and Kemba Walker. Like, that was a L of a draft. You had a top 2 pick and you did that with it. And because they did so bad in that draft, they were once again in the 2013 draft in the very similar situation, and they had a top 5 pick. This is now back-to-back years of having a top 5 pick. And what did they do with it? They selected Cody Zeller. My God, what the hell, Charlotte? They picked him over Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, CJ McCollum, Steven Adams, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Dennis Schroeder, and 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert. Like, there were much better big. Giannis was a big. Rudy Gobert was a big. Steven Adams even was a better big than Cody Zeller currently is. So, I mean, these are just terrible misses of a pick. Even if they went guard some reason for 3 years in a row, they would have been better off than doing what they did in selecting Cody Zeller. Now, Zeller is not a bad player. He's still in the NBA. He's doing fine. But my God, he was not worth a top 5 pick in that draft by any means. So that is now 2 major L's of a draft that I've just went over. But it gets worse, because in 2014, once again, they have a lottery pick. And by the way, almost every other pick they have that I'm going to mention was a lottery pick, just saying. And in 2014, they picked Noah Vonleh over guys like Zach LaVine, TJ Warren, Nurkic, Clint Capella, and Bogdan Bogdanovic. Now, although those aren't great players except for Zach LaVine, Noah Vonleh is a horrible pick. I'm not even sure he's in the NBA anymore, and if he is, I think he's on the Knicks. Like, bench somewhere. I'm not sure he's in the NBA anymore. And this is a 2014 lottery pick. He should still be in the NBA, and he's just not. And to pick him over a guy like Levine, even TJ Warren, or even Bogdanovich is just unacceptable. Like, that's just insane. Like, how you can be this bad at drafting is almost like they're trying to just be horrible. Like, it's insane. And then now, 2015, the next one, once again, a lottery pick, they pick Frank Kaminsky, a big, by the way. And who'd they pick him over? Just some random basketball players like Miles Turner, Devin Booker, Terry Rozier, and Larry Nance Jr. Once again, all of which would have been much damn better than Frank Kaminsky. Why the Hornets just insist on selecting tall white guys, I don't understand. It hasn't worked out for them yet, and I don't think it's going to anytime soon, especially since they didn't get to pick Chet. So if I was them, I would avoid drafting the tall white guys, and especially when you're drafting them over literally star-level players like Turner and Devin Booker. And then, going into the 2 years later draft, 2017, obviously, once again, a lottery pick, they pick Malik Monk. Now, Malik Monk is a very solid player, and it's solid. Like, that's what he is. He's a good scorer, and he's just a little inconsistent. But then, you look at who they picked him over, and he no longer looks that solid, as they picked him over Donovan Mitchell, Bam Adebayo, John Collins, Jared Allen, OG Anunoby, Kyle Kuzma, Derek White, and Josh Hart. I'm pretty sure, maybe outside of the last two, possibly, you would much rather any of those other players. Kuzma's better. OG's definitely better. Allen, all these players are better. And Donovan Mitchell and Bam. Donovan Mitchell literally is like a better version of Malik. He's a very high upside offensive guy who can legitimately make your team so much better. And of course, they didn't make the right decision. And then, just next year, they go and select Miles Bridges over Michael Porter Jr., Kevin Huerter, and Anthony Simons. And really, Miles Bridges wouldn't even be that bad of a pick if he wasn't currently playing for the prison league. He's literally in prison, I'm pretty sure, right now. And he's definitely not playing for the Charlotte Hornets. So that's basically like you didn't even have a pick in 2018. And that's not even really their fault. It's just insane how unlucky a franchise can possibly be. Like, that's just insane. At least he's not even hitting jump shots. He's hitting his wife. Like, it's... oh my god, like, I don't understand how you can be this cursed of a franchise. And then even recently, 2019, they picked PJ Washington. Now, although, like I said, PJ Washington, very solid guy, they still picked him over guys like Kevin Porter Jr., Keldon Johnson, Jordan Poole, and Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero, I'm pretty sure, was in 6th Man of the Year running last year. Jordan Poole just got a huge contract and is a vital piece to a championship-winning team. Keldon Johnson's a 20-point-per-game scorer with the Spurs, and Kevin Porter Jr. is looking very solid with the Houston Rockets. So once again, they could have definitely had something better than PJ Tucker, PJ Washington, but actually 2019 is probably one of their best drafts in a very, very long time. And then 2020, they did pick LaMelo Ball. Now, that was the obvious pick, and it would have been very hard to mess that one up, but they did make the right decision and pick LaMelo. So congrats. When you absolutely almost had zero chance to mess it up, you did not mess it up. But then in 2021, they said, no, screw that, we're done doing the right thing. They went back to doing the very wrong thing when they drafted James Bouknight over guys like Chris Duarte, Alperen Sengun, and Trey Murphy, Trey Mann. And it's just mind-boggling how you can consistently make the complete wrong decision when there's so many just better decisions you could, like, you would think they would get lucky a few times, but when 2019 and picking PJ Washington over guys like Keldon, Poole, and Hero is one of your better drafts of the past decade, that is very indicative of how poorly ran and poorly just the decisions are made when it comes to this team. And it really only started when Michael Jordan took over this team. But it's not even just like the drafting that is just mind-boggling bad about this team. They don't even make the right decisions when it comes to their coaching staff. Because they made the right decision, in my opinion, when they hired James Borrego. Or I'm assuming that's how you say his name. But they hired him in 2018. And in his first year with the Hornets, they went 39-43, which is solid, not great or anything, but is very solid. But then then they traded away Kemba, and they pretty much were tanking. They traded away Batum, and they were really just tanking that year, and they did have a very bad season. I think they went like 23-42 or something. But then, after they drafted LaMelo, and he finally got a little bit of talent on that roster, Borrego improved them by 10 more wins and put them at 33-39. It looked like they were on the right trend, and then the very next year, the exact same story happened. They improved by another 10 wins, and we're sitting at a record of 43-39. They looked like they were trending in the right direction. Everything was fine. They were kind of building a little bit of a culture. They're one of the more fun teams to watch. It looks like Michael Jordan finally made a good decision, and no, he decided to hit the red button, blow it up, fire James Borrego, and now they currently sit at a 7-20 record. That is atrociously bad and an atrocious downgrade from the trajectory it looked like this Hornets team was on. They went from a play-in team last year to literally looking to get Wembanyama. Now, it could be a purposeful tank at this point. I don't think they came into the season thinking they wanted Wembanyama, but now I'm sure LaMelo won't be playing for a very, very long time due to random medical setbacks. I am sure a few of their other players as well will be getting injured very soon as they try to tank for Victor Wembanyama to save their franchise. But why? That makes no sense to why they fired James Borrego. Like, literally zero sense. He improved them by 20 wins in a 2-year span, and the only year that they were bad was when they were pretty much purposely being bad and he had no chance, and they fired him. What the hell, Jordan? Like, why? That didn't even make logical sense. Like, are you trying to make them horrible? But finally, that is all the reasons I have, from mainly terrible drafting and terrible coaching decisions, hiring and firing standpoint, is mainly the reasons that I think this team has been so bad over the past decade. Like, God, Michael, just get someone else to make the decisions, please, because whatever you're doing right now is just not working. Fire the GM, do something, because this is just awful. Fire the entire scouting room. I'm sorry, Charlotte fans, you have to deal with this. And that will be it for this video. So if you like the video, point to the like button and subscribe button. It would mean the absolute word to me, and I hope you have a blessed day. Have a blessed day. So you need to have a blessed day. All glory to God. See you in the next video. Goodbye. Boo. Blah.